Hey everyone, it's Kyle from Cool Collectibles. In my previous video I gave you guys a quick look at the box and contents of the new LEGO Ultimate Collector Series Slave 1 model set, but I spent today with my 5 and 7 year old putting it together. It only took us 6 hours, so I can give you guys a close detailed look at all the features of this pretty amazing set. So I'll just give you guys a quick 360 because this spacecraft, the way LEGO have done it pretty much looks incredible from every single angle. So I'll give you guys a closer look at all the unique pieces and some of the features that they've incorporated. But I did take photos of the build as we were going along because they do bag each component for each section of the build. So if there were 13 bags, and so I've got the 13 photos on the Facebook page to show you the each completed section. And that really does give you a lot of detail into how the structure of the spacecraft is put together, which is pretty ingenious on LEGO's part. One of the things the designer did note in the instruction manual was that the original model from Empire Strikes Back was actually almost like an eggshell, where there was no sort of internal integrity at all. And so it was a challenge for him to try and find a structure within all of the paneling to keep it intact, I guess, but also have the playability and the ability to have the cockpit and the hardening carbonite be able to be inserted inside there, and still to be able to keep all of this sturdy and effectively able for display. So it was a pretty amazing effort by the designer. I think it took him 3 months or so, and so I really can't fault anything that he has done. I've had a look at some of the reference shots of the model from the movie, and just the angles and the shape of the curvature of the back here and the front and the wings and so on. They've done an outstanding job in capturing all of that. So I'll just, before I get too far into the model itself, I'll stop and give you guys a closer look at the minifigs that come with the set. Alright, of course with Slave 1 you've got to have a Boba Fett, and apparently this is a brand new printing of Boba Fett. I don't have many minifigs in my collection at all, and so this is essentially my first Boba Fett, and it does look pretty sensational. It does have the viewfinder up here, which you can fold down. And it is removable. It comes with a couple of spare components, so if you manage to lose that you can always replace it. I love the patterning and the printing on the arms there. It's even, the orange there is even almost a metallic sheen to it, and it's pretty accurate for this sort of scale, so I'm definitely happy with that. Love the printing and the battle damage and the the Wookiee braids there. The armor on the knees, everything looks sensational. It also has some printing on the arm there, which you can sort of see the Mandalorian symbol there, and it does come with this fabric cape as well that you sort of just wrap around the neck post. There's the backpack, which is a fairly flat paint, but no big deal there. But the detailing on the helmet, everything is nicely sharp, so no issues with that. It does come with a blaster, which is a little large, but I guess it's Boba Fett, so no complaints there. And it can get stored inside the cockpit, which I'll show you guys in a bit. It also comes with a Stormtrooper, which is right here. And again, I'm not sure if this is a new printing or not, but just the paint application on the helmet, I was very impressed with. All the lines and everything is very clean and sharp, so no complaints there. It's got the standard Stormtrooper blaster rifle, which looks pretty good. And there it is from the back, so that's the Stormtrooper. Also comes with a Bespin guard. So the printing on that is also nice with the gold lining there, and the hat looks pretty cool. And it does come with a little blaster as well, I believe. I think this is for the Bespin guard. So a nice little pistol there. And of course, if you've got a Slave 1, you've got to have a Han Solo to put in it. So this is the outside of the carbonite, but overall nicely printed outfit there, and he does come with an alternate head, or head sculpt, or face paint anyway, so there, I'm not sure what this one is used for, but you can turn that around and have another sort of look to him there, like so. But I guess the best piece is the Han in carbonite itself. So the Besman guard, for example, can clasp his hands on that like he's pushing it along, like he was in the movie. And it's all nicely sort of painted there on the silver sides and so on. And I guess the feature is you can put the Han minifig inside, so you pretty much just slot his hands in there, if I can do that, and just push his hands in like he's holding that, and he pretty much stores away like that. So you can put him inside the back of the model itself, so I'll just show you where that would go. You can see the door there, but I'll show that in a second once I give you guys a closer look. And you can pretty much fold that out and clip that on, so you see the little clips there, and that'll just clip on the underside. So I'll just put these minifigs away and give you guys a closer look at the model itself. Alright, so I'm not even sure where to start because pretty much every facet of this model is pretty amazing. But I'll start at the front because it was always, I thought it was always going to be difficult to try and capture the shape of the front. But they've done a really good job with these sort of unique rounded edges and the matte panels here. Now this section here does have the stickers. So there's a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stickers. And I did have a bit of sticker anxiety putting them on, and the advice of my 7-year-old didn't help. But overall, I think I've done a fairly straight job with this particular section anyway. I think the ones on the wings that I'll show you guys in a second were a bit harder. But it's a shame Lego couldn't print these on. But I guess that's just a minor nit to pick. But just the overall paneling leading up to the sides here, so these are unique rounded sections as well, and leading up to the rounded cockpit. So this was a completely separate and unique piece that they molded for this cockpit, and there are a couple of stickers at the back here which weren't too difficult in putting on. And this cockpit sort of doesn't, at first it seems like it doesn't line up very well, but that's for a reason, and I guess the reason is to follow that sort of angle of the spacecraft itself. And so that's a very accurate sort of representation from the movie, leading on to these sort of rounded edges. There is a bit of a gap here, but there's not much you can really do about that, and they have built in some additional features here which I'll show you guys in a second. But the cockpit itself, if I just zoom back out, you can remove this cockpit, and I'll just show you some of the movement and engineering within the cockpit itself. So you pretty much just pull this off gently, and you can probably see now that there are these 3 pegs here which essentially fit into the 3 slots on the top of the cockpit. So I'll just get this off the tripod. So the cockpit itself is really nicely done. Give you guys a good look there. So you can see this is when it's in landing mode, and so he'd be sitting in here facing the rear, and that's where he would, I guess, exit into the back of the aircraft. But the really awesome thing about this piece is that it rotates. So in flight mode, when he's facing upwards, he would rotate in that direction and essentially be sitting up like that. And it actually is on some sort of almost like a gimbal, if you want. So there is a bit of a rocking motion as well, so you just sort of rock it and rotate it so you get the best position with the canopy in place. And some of the detail in the print work there, so he's got all the consoles around him. Here's a spare gun that they've included, and this little slot here can also store his gun when he's sitting inside. So there's lots of panel work there, lots of extra detailing, and that rocking feature is really awesome. The other feature I love are these wings, which rotate by gravity. So at the moment in landed mode they're flat, but once I put this into the flight mode, I'll show you guys how they rotate. But one of the interesting things was, as I was building this, I felt that the wings were quite flimsy, but little did I know that one of the subsequent sections and the components were to build this sort of structure to fix it to the chassis of the aircraft. And the whole engineering of this and how it connects through to that side and to the other side here as well, it's all sort of connected through, is pretty damn ingenious. So the way they've sort of been able to make this rotate is really nice. Now the stickers, this is where I struggled a little bit, and you can probably see where it's not completely symmetrical. And I had to actually peel one of I think one of this one off to make it line up with all of these lines, because I had them crooked, and that's probably as best as I can do it. So it's a shame that they couldn't print those pieces, but on this side it's not too bad. So I mean, it's nice that they've also got stickers here and on the other side, and it's not symmetrical, so at least the battle damage is unique on each side. So the wings, you can probably see more of their features in flight mode, so I'll show you guys a bit more of that a bit later. Now this back section was always going to be a critical part of the aircraft, because you know that's where they'll be loading up Han Solo and so on, and it was always some sort of curved structure in the actual model itself, and so they've been able to replicate that fairly well with this sort of stepped up look with these sort of flat unique curved panels here. And I love the path leading up to the door there. And I guess if I just lower this and give you guys a look straight up, I mean, even the inside here with all of the you know, the Lego paneling and so on, everything is facing the right way mostly, and so you don't get that sort of ugly Lego inside panel look. It all looks like it's purposely designed that way to look nice. And this door here, I'll just see if I can grab it out. So you pretty much just grab that and flick it out like so, and you open it up there, and you can see that there is this clip here which you then attach the Han in carbonite to store him away, and then you can just fold that back down and store the Han away for Boba to take to Jabba the Hutt. So yeah, the way they've been able to do the side panels here, everything looks yeah, really accurate to the movie, as accurate as a Lego model can possibly be, I think, in this size. So yeah, this whole back section here, I can't rave on about it enough. The top section here, I think the most impressive part of this whole section here is really the inside, because I was really impressed by the way they did the engineering to do the framework. As I was mentioning before, the actual model of the aircraft was like an eggshell, really, and so there was no structural integrity in there, but they've used a really sort of ingenious truss sort of mechanism and interconnecting pins and so on that really make it sturdy, and then you just sort of clip these outside panels on along a couple of points along the edges there. It's actually a ball joint here and a couple of clips down the front, so it's pretty ingenious that they've been able to do that and keep it all nice and tight and fairly strong. So, and I love the paneling work and just the extra sort of detailing. And it's interesting that the paneling work, especially around here, is not symmetrical, so you'll see variations in where they place you know, some of the grey grids and the grey panels and the green panels. So they've tried to at least make it interesting and not totally a repetitious build in that regard. So I guess the other great thing, if I just move up a little bit, are these rounded sections at the top, which really come to the fore in the flight mode. So I'll give you guys a closer look in a second at that. But all of these curves and so on, it really just looks fantastic, because if you look at it from the front or from the rear here, it just looks perfect. with all of those curved panels and so on. So I'm really glad they added those sort of unique pieces and not tried to, you know, step it down through various pieces of Lego. The turrets here, nothing too spectacular with the turrets, and they do connect through and they just sort of rotate in any direction. They've got a couple of gears in there that you just use to rotate, but fairly nicely done there as well. So I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to cover in landing mode. So I might just put him back on the stand and show you guys what it looks like and some of the detail on the rear as well for the flight mode. Alright, so here it is in flight mode, and I gotta say it does look pretty sensational. They've put a lot of detail into the rear and just how to engineer it so that it can be placed in that sort of mode. The base itself, I was really surprised and happy with the base. You have to build that yourself, of course, just like the other UCS bases, but this one really is a step above from the ones that I'm used to. I mean, the only other ones I've really got are the old X-Wing and TIE Interceptor, but I have seen the B-Wing and some of the Millennium Falcon and the Star Destroyer ones as well, and this one really is, I think, a cut above those ones. They've really engineered it well for strength. You can see here that it has these two prongs that are wide apart, and it has a couple of closer space ones at the bottom here that fit into holes within the rear here, and really does hold the spacecraft quite tightly and sturdily, so it's not at any risk of sort of falling off or crumbling. So they've done a really nice job of that. While I'm at the rear here, I'll just show you guys some of the detailing in the back. And you know, a lot of collectors probably won't show this from the rear, and so a lot of the detail will probably be missed, and so it's really good that they put so much attention into that sort of detailing. So you get the sort of engines and so on at the back here. Now this section here does fold out on a ratchet. I'll just see if I can do that now. Just like that. I'm not sure what that's for, or if that's even in the movie. I can't remember that from the movie, so I'm not sure why they engineered that in, but you can just fold that away. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is, but it's an interesting touch anyway. And some of these features here, these all feel rather flimsy, but they're all sort of locked in place and inserted into certain holes and so on, so it's all in place where it should be. But yeah, I'm not sure where they got that sort of reference material from, but everything else just looks perfect from that angle. These little clear spaces that you see here, that's for when it's in flight mode, so that it sort of looks, it gives it a look that it's slightly hovering. So they've got about 12 of those around the edges of the aircraft, so that's a really nice touch for them to do it, and it does help in picking up the piece as well when it's in flight, the landed mode, because you really do need to. I found that you do need to be a bit careful where you put your hands to pick it up, and I found the back here and the front are probably the best places. The sides here, these panels and so on are connected just by a few some of these connection points, and so they might break off if you're not careful. So I would probably pick it up from the top and the bottom. Now the wings here, I was talking about these wings before. So in landed mode, it's facing that way, but just by pure gravity, as it's in this particular mode, it will just lie flat like that. So that's pretty awesome engineering for them to be able to do that. And again, you might be able to get a closer look at some of the paneling work and the engineering here. So this whole pin structure goes through to the other side, and the wings work in tandem, as you can, if I can have a look at that. So they move and rotate together, which is pretty damn cool. It all feels, I thought initially that it was fairly flimsy, but it's not flimsy at all, and they do work fairly well. And again, the stickers, just be careful if you're putting them on, and make sure you get those You can probably get it a bit straighter than I can, but that's not too bad. And again, the front paneling, they did include a couple of interesting gadgets on the panels here. I wasn't sure why they did it as I was doing the build, but you can probably see it now. So these little panels here actually fold out. So if I just get my fingers in there. Alright, so you actually do it on both sides. So they fold out, and this one here has I don't know if that's a concussion bomb or something like that from when was that, episode 2. And on this side here you can also fold that out, and I guess it's just got some spare rifles there for him to shoot. So just an interesting feature that I didn't realize what the intent was until you pretty much completed the model and flipped out those particular panels. So interesting look there. And there you can see the cockpit, which isn't rotated the right way, but you essentially, as I was showing the rotation before, you pretty much just push that back, and then he'll be sitting facing forward. So that is pretty much it, I think. Overall, I couldn't recommend this model set any more than possible, because you know, I made the mistake of missing out on the Millennium Falcon when it was available for retail here in Australia, and you know, I think it retailed for about $450 or $500 or something like that, and now it goes for upwards of, you know, $3,000–4,000. So I'm sure that this is probably going to be destined for that sort of crazy price. So I got this from the Lego shop officially for the Australian region for $2.99 shipped. So definitely get on board to the Lego shop. I don't know if, you know, if Big W or Target or anywhere else is going to get this anytime soon, and how much stock they're going to have. So if the Lego shop can still send you this, definitely get on and order from there, because they shipped it out in perfect condition, and I'm definitely happy with the service so far from Lego. So that is pretty much it. I hope you guys like that look at this new Ultimate Collector Series Slave 1, and it's definitely an awesome piece to have in any Star Wars collection. So hope you like that, and can click that subscribe button. I've got a few reviews coming up with my pile of loot from BBTS, and also a few things coming from Robot Kingdom as well. So hope you can stay tuned for that, and thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.